Welcome to Mindset Talks Podcast. It's your girls, Cassie
and Amanda.
And we are here to share our mindsets,
elevate yours, and have some fun while achieving better versions of ourselves. Hello, my friend Cassie.
Hey, Amanda.
How are things?
Oh, girl, I am so hungry.
You've been complaining about needing some food.
Oh, my goodness. But I'm trying to make podcasting come first and eating second.
Oh, you better than me. Let's just say that.
Trust
You
and
are better
believe.
than me.
As soon as we are done.
What you going to be eating?
I have salmon. I think I might make some salmon.
You sound really thrilled about that.
I'm really hungry and I don't want to have to wait to cook something.
No, I don't blame you.
But that's not really, it's kind of effortless. So
anything good with it?
I don't know. I feel like with salmon, I kind of struggle on like what sides to do. I was thinking about like some rice. But other than that, I don't like, what do you put with salmon?
I usually would say rice and some sort of like green beans or broccoli.
Oh yeah. See, I don't eat none of that. So fish and rice.
Not terrible. I mean, it's always good to put a green in there, but maybe
But
a
hey,
salad.
I got my protein.
Hey, go protein. Go protein.
Sometimes that's all that matters.
Oh my gosh. So, anyways, you know what I want to talk about today?
No, I don't. What would you like to talk about today?
I want to talk about motivation.
Ooh, that is such a steamy topic.
Hot and heavy. No, motivation is a really interesting topic to me because we're all motivated by different things for different reasons. So I thought that we can discuss how motivated we were or weren't after losing our parents and where we stand now with our levels of motivation.
Well, I think that has a lot of relevance.
You don't say.
I think we had briefly touched on that in a few episodes ago, where when you lose somebody, you just kind of have this like immediate like rush to like want to like get everything done that you've ever wanted to do because you realize like how short life is.
Mm.
But it's definitely a bigger topic to discuss. And, for me, I would say that I was like super, super motivated, like right when my dad had passed and like even a little bit before that.
Okay.
I had like all of these plans and all of these ideas, and I was like, we're going to do this and that. And, just seeing how for throat cancer, because it is one of the rarer cancers, that like nurses really just kind of like make shit up as they go because there's not really things out there already. Like they literally just like put like supplies together and like makeshift things and
that sounds so reassuring.
I mean, no, but you got to do what you got to do in certain situations, you know what I mean? So
understand.
It was definitely interesting. And that kind of caused me to like go into some weird like mode to where I thought like I can change not the world, but like I can just like I can change how this is for, like throat cancer patients. And like it made my dad's life like so much easier, but it's not something that like every nurse would know.
Okay.
So it was like how do I don't know why I felt like I had to take that on, but I was like, how do I help get this out there so that way other people like my dad can, have this tool that would make it just like a little bit easier for them.
Like to increase their survival rate?
No, I wouldn't say increase their survival rate, but just make their quality of life a little more pleasant.
Okay.
There was some kind of, we'll call it a doohickey, that one of the nurses put together that made it a lot easier for my dad to swallow.
Okay.
So this was after his glossectomy, which was removing part of his tongue. So you can imagine if you don't have your full tongue and it's not like completely functional, it would be a little hard for you to like eat and swallow things. So this one nurse in particular had just like created this little doohickey. And I keep saying that because maybe one day I will actually do something with it.
Right. You don't
um,
want to spill the beans.
no, because so I did a lot of research in regards to like, does this like already exist out there? I was like trying to figure out how to like write a business plan because I have no like education or anything in business, and so trying to figure all that stuff out. And you know, I was I was very motivated in that time frame
You were
to
in it.
make this happen. And if I ever did go through with it, I told myself I would like hunt down that nurse and give them, credit or like royalties or something. Cause like without them, like I didn't just create this out of nowhere.
Right. So much respect for that, though. I
So
mean, the nurses become such a big part of our lives when dealing with certain situations with our family members or our loved ones in general when they're in the hospital or just under medical care.
they do. They definitely do. And, just kudos out there to all the nurses because they are truly heroes. And I know that COVID kind of like brought that to light. But even before COVID, it was something that I know that you and I both kind of knew, on the down low, you can
For
say.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Um, so I was like super motivated about that. Like I had even went to so like I have the original one that my dad used, and then I tried to like make some like other prototypes after that. So like I went to like a medical supply store, like I bought all this stuff. Like I still have it like in a bag now. It's just like collecting dust.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt, but right now I'm just envisioning like knowing your science background. I just envision you with that, you know, that hat that has that gray hair that sticks up. All the older guys used to wear it. It was like a visor.
Oh
It gives me
god.
like mad scientist vibes where you're just like in the lab and you're just working hard and you have all your test tubes and all these things you're just putting together. And you're like, damn it, I'm going to get this. This is just all I can envision while you're talking. Okay, continue.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it probably makes sense considering like when I have like an idea in my head, like I do go kind of crazy. So that would
Maybe.
that would make sense. There was also another one too where I had actually like I wouldn't say stolen, but it was something my dad was using and they were gonna throw it out anyway.
Hmm.
That I had like collected that from the hospital and I had my mom like hold on to it for a long time. I never actually ended up doing anything with that one. Um, I sort of now that I, like, think about it, I don't really remember exactly what it was that I wanted to do,
Hmm.
but it was just something else that it was, like, such an inconvenience, and it was such an annoyance, like, in the hospital, and it was just like, "Why on earth do these poor people have to, like, deal with this stuff?" Like, it's just, like,
Yeah.
absurd. And actually so this one I will I will, like, elaborate on a little bit.
Okay.
So those, like, oxygen tubes, you can say that, like, they kinda, like, have it, like, plugged in, like, behind, like, your hospital bed into, like, their little, like, oxygen supply system
Right.
thing, and it's, like, the long, like, blue tube, and it has, like, the it's supposed to have, like, the mouthpiece on it because 'cause you're supposed to, like, breathe that in, to get your oxygen levels up, but for my dad, he couldn't breathe out of his mouth because remember he had his, tracheotomy, and so he had the hole in his throat, and that's, like, where he breathed out of, so pretty much his mouth was just,
His mouth.
I don't want to say just, like, there, but,
Right.
all of that stuff came through the hole in his throat, and those tubes, oxygen tubes, are meant to go over somebody's, like, face. They're not meant to go over someone's, like, hole. So, like, you have, like, your ears are, like, a good placeholder to, like, hold something in front of your face. You know how we all
Right.
wear masks now with COVID and things.
In your glasses.
Exactly. But for, people like my dad who've been through a surgery like that, like, their best practice was just to try and, like, safety pin it to, like, your hospital gown and just, like, let it, like, sit there. And it's just kind of like, well, that's like, every time you get up to go to the bathroom, like, you have to, like,
Unpin.
unpin yourself and, like, trying to, like,
Right.
move around and, like, sleep and, like, it would never be, like, right where the hole is because, like, hospital gowns, they always, like,
You're
sag
all
and
droopy. Yeah, you got you looking like the help. Yeah.
so it's like, even then, like, that didn't even really like, you kinda, like, had to hold it there or, like, lay down in, like, a certain position to where, like, it wouldn't move?
Right. Oh,
So
I can imagine that's so uncomfortable sounding and
yeah, so
inconvenient.
completely, and, like, the poor thing, I just I felt so bad, like, here he is, like, he needs his oxygen and shit, and then, like, he can't get it because it's not made to go over a train.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
And then not to mention the damn condensation from the oxygen tank just, like it, like, falls in the tube to where it just makes this annoying ass, like, drip sound because it would, like, collect, like, in the bottom of the tube because like, it's flexible, it moves and stuff, so I would, like, collect, like, where it was, like, I don't know,
Like
like,
where
kinked or
the
whatever.
yeah, like where it would just like have a sag or a
Mm,
dip in the line.
exactly, and
Yep.
so it would just, like, make such most, like, annoying drip sound ever, and, like, you would have to, like, go, like, maneuver it and, like, pour the water, like,
Nope.
back into the tank, and it was just
Oh my gosh, that's
ugh,
unnecessary work. And where
it's
is
such
this
a mess.
24-hour staff nurse that's just going to be moving this water out my line the whole time because I don't got the time for this shit.
No.
I don't have the time for this. Where's my nurse?
Oh
Nurse, I'm
god,
hitting that button every 2 seconds.
and
You
it's
might as well
so
just stay
bad.
here with me for the rest of the day because I'm not going to stop.
Right.
Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So where do you stand now when it comes to I listened to you mention this bag collecting dust and not really knowing where the other piece is, but um where's your level of motivation now? Because a lot of what you talked about sounded to be in the past
Hmm.
and not quite a part of your life at the moment.
Um, that motivation would be completely non-existent.
Okay.
Uh, I guess now, like, I don't really see the urgency in it. Um, that and you know me, it's not something that I think about at,
You know
like,
me.
often, or I try not to think about, what happened in the past, and it's just easier for me to process everything by not I guess, kinda like by not processing it. Um,
That denial.
yeah, so I really I don't know what it would take for me to actually, like, get motivated about it again because I know that it can help other people eventually. So that whenever I have that in the back of my head, I'm like, Okay, like, you need to stop fucking around and, like, you need to at least, like, put it out there. So if, you're not gonna do it, like, somebody else can do it. Because if it can make someone's life, a little bit easier, one less thing they have to worry about when they're going through everything else, I should just do that. But for some reason, I just can't bring myself
To
to
it.
do that, and I've been talking about this for a long time. Like, I have, like, a book that I've been wanting to write, and I probably have, like, 60-70% of it, like, written and drafted, and it's been sitting there for
Girl.
I don't know how many years.
Girl. That's a lot to have done.
Oh, yeah.
You're past 50%.
I mean, I don't really know because 'cause I've never wrote a book before, but I would say I'm probably well over 50%. It's all written.
Well, think about the rabbit and the hare. So, rushing isn't necessarily the best thing, but if I can give you any good words of encouragement, don't stop at your 60, 70, 50, whatever percent you're at until you have reached 100%.
Yes, I know,
I
but you
know
know that this podcast is the only thing that I've been so consistent with.
it's true, but we have room for more. These are building blocks, making room for more opportunities.
Yes, that is very true. Very yeah. I need to get it together. I know this. But,
Work
we'll
in
see what
progress.
happens.
Work in
Exactly.
progress. We have plenty of time, but it's just a work in progress.
Yeah. But what about you? Did you find yourself to be, like, weird? Well, I always call myself weird, but, like, did you
Yeah, you do. I don't know why. You
No.
always do. I'm weird. Yeah, it's weird. I know. I'm gonna go weird. Weird, 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 weird. I'm sorry.
So
What were you saying?
how were you? Right after your mom had passed, did you find yourself motivated or unmotivated, or what did that look like for you?
I was in survival mode.
Mm,
Once again, bits of this was mentioned in previous episodes, but I was just so hyper focused on where am I going to live. And I mean, it was an easy decision because I really only had kind of like one option.
yeah,
Um, Once I had that settled, I just was coasting through life. Motivation wasn't a thing.
yeah,
I was just making sure I was going to work each day and being able to provide for myself and my dog. I
gotcha.
was like, I really wasn't specifically working towards anything. At that time at work, I was working as a manager in training. So I was working to become an assistant store manager. But
Mm,
my level of motivation was just kind of like, bruh, if I get it, I get it. But like right now, I'm just so, ugh. But at the same time, like I did want the position because I was moved by money.
right.
So I knew that, okay, I'm about to be on a come up though if I get this. And it was about, let's see, I got the promotion in April the following year. So almost a year after my mom passed,
Mm,
I then switched gears and was promoted into the assistant store manager role. And I want to say probably sometime after that, I had developed this motivation of, okay, like I'm making more money. Um, I can start to make my own moves of living somewhere on my own and providing for myself. But it wasn't until I kind of reached that place of thinking about what really means the most to me. But I
yeah.
hadn't felt fully in that grip until like early 2020, where I'm like, my happiness is something I think about and I compare it to the level of happiness my mom had. And
Mm,
my mom, she was always happy, but then I'm like, that was her nature. But was she happy with the way her life ended, with how much she has accomplished,
yeah.
with her level of fulfillment? So it was weird. Like I just kind of started thinking about that more often. Don't really know what triggered it to be exact, but it's something that I
Mm,
had constantly thought about is, and people say it like, what would people say about you when you die?
right.
Like a kind of thought like that. So I just pretty much said to myself, like, I got to do better than what my mom did. And I need to make sure that when I do go, when my time comes, I will have a higher level of fulfillment. I will have a higher level of satisfaction in my life and the things I've done
Hmm.
and not feel like I've missed out on opportunities. I would want to have less should haves, could haves type of ordeals when I'm going through my life.
Yeah, and I think that's super important too, you know? You definitely wanna make sure that you have that fulfillment, and who's to say maybe your mom did, you know?
Right, right.
Who knows?
But
But
I always reflect on like certain things she said she wanted to do
mm,
and even just things that we didn't get to do that I know she would have wanted to do with me just as a mother daughter relationship.
gotcha.
So, my mom's passing and what I always call her honor is what ultimately motivates me to this day.
Mm,
And just thinking about how proud she would be of me, I try to reflect on that most times because I can't say all the time because I know there's some shit she would be like, girl, what the entire,
yeah,
so,
it's
which
normal though.
I honestly don't think she would say that for a lot. I think she would say that more in situations of where I kind of let other people overstep boundaries,
Mhm.
not necessarily in what I'm doing and in doing things that are wrong or like hurtful.
Right, right, yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. So, um, this whole living somewhere else, like I think it's more of a thought that I've embedded into my mind that it's something that my mom would have wanted to do. I know she's spoken about moving down to like North Carolina. I have a couple uncles down there,
Mm,
and she's spoken about eventually moving down there sometime. She finally got to take a couple trips down there,
mhm.
but I feel like I've always, in general, not I feel like, I know, in general, I've always wanted to move out of Connecticut. Like, that's it. I'm done. I
Yeah.
can't stay here forever. It's too cold. I don't like it. I'm uncomfortable. I need sun. My vitamin D is lacking. I'm not trying to take multivitamins all year round. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah, trust me, I get it. I haven't been there in how many years?
Right. So now I'm just even more passionate about moving.
Mm,
And it's become more than just for me. Now it's, well, my mom would have wanted to do it. I don't even know if
mm,
she really would have if she had that opportunity. I don't even know if she actually really had the opportunity to and then just passed it up.
yeah.
But it's maybe a little crazy to keep thoughts like that in my mind, but it keeps me going.
Yeah, I don't think it is at all, and like you just said, if it's what's gonna keep you going and bring you to, like, that next level, I don't there's nothing wrong with that, you know?
Right.
And, it would definitely make mama proud just because, she never got that chance or, whatever the case may be. I think it's really cool that you kinda, like, wanna carry that out and make sure that, like, you make that into, like, your life, like, goal.
Yeah. It's just because I know she's still here. She's not
Mhm.
physically seen. And I had to get over that because when I did get promoted, the first person I wanted to call was my mom.
Right.
And such an exciting moment was so saddening because the one person I wanted to talk to first, I couldn't. And everyone's like between coworkers and my family and friends,
Mm.
everyone's like, even though you can't see her, she still sees you, she's with you, she sees what you're doing, and it's just like,
Mhm.
shut up. It's not enough, it I
Right,
it's
it
not
won't be.
enough. Like, I get it, but that's not going to help heal me.
Yeah.
So I had to transform my thinking out of that stage into next level. Like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to embrace what people have been saying to me, but I'm going to just kind of lay it on a different way. Okay, you're right. She's still here with me. Let me do it for her honor. Let me do it because she's still watching over me. She's, going to continue to be proud of me regardless of what I'm doing. So,
Yeah. She
but
definitely will too. Her little Manda baby.
ugh, girl, listen, it's such a process. But, you know, just the main thing I think aside from that I'm also motivated by is her her passing because of her health conditions.
Mm,
Like, I've changed my diet. I don't
mm,
eat the same as, like, I had a coworker who we used to work together at my old store, and now we're working together again
mhm.
because they transferred up to my store. And we were talking to our new store manager because we got a new store manager. And they're like, yeah, Amanda loves a good pulled pork, blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, I don't even eat pork anymore. And they're like, uh, wait, what?
That's the Amanda I know.
Right, right. Because I used to be like straight savage mode, eating everything. But
Yeah,
now just knowing, health can be such a factor as to how things went for my mom that,
yeah.
okay, now there's certain things I gotta adjust. Okay, no more pork. Okay, no more beef. Chicken very seldom, but girl, I ate enough chicken growing up. I could have ate enough chicken for all the families in my freaking neighborhood a
Right.
week. Like, we had chicken a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
Bruh. Surprised I don't got no feathers, you know?
You stupid.
But just that, those are my two key things of just being able to do things in her honor
Mm,
because she's still watching me motivates me. And then also just her health being the reason of her passing. Because, obviously people can pass from tragic accidents.
right.
That wasn't the case. You know, this is something that I feel like is more controllable. Not
Mhm.
fully controllable, but I'm sure there could have been other options to help extend
Right.
her lifespan.
Yeah,
But
there's always something, you can do, and they always say, I mean, it's hard now because like, everything that we consume is, like, what is that called? Genetically modified and, like, all that kind of stuff, and so
don't
it
put we up in this. It ain't all of us. No, I'm just saying.
anyways, but it can make it really hard for that kind of stuff just because, the way that the world is now, and they
Yeah.
say all these things, like, cause cancer and, this,
Oh
that, and the
gosh, I
third, but
know. Instilling the fear in all of us. And I'm like, Lord child, please.
right.
But in general, my body feels good when I eat better. So
Yeah, and that too.
I have to do better because I've been stressed these past few weeks with Chewy. So I can't,
I know.
few weeks. It's been like a year, honestly, but but
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely
those
think that's pretty cool though, that you kind of, like, always have that in the back of your head to use that as your motivator.
have to, or
Yeah.
else I'm not going to be driven because then it's just living in my sorrows of losing my most favorite person ever,
Mhm.
and that's going to get me nowhere.
Yeah. I hear you. I don't know, trying to think, like, because like, hearing you say all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, I don't really know if I'm the same way in that fashion to where, like, I'm always thinking about, like, my dad and what, I don't know, like, what he would have wanted or would make him proud or anything like that.
Mhm.
I think for me and with the way that he was is that he always lived his life to the fullest of what made him happy. Like, you would hear my mom complain about this a lot because, he did a lot of things for himself. Like, he would always be bowling, he'd always be golfing, like, he would always
Mm.
be doing all of these activities, like, literally all the time. So where, like, my mom would have to be like, "Not today, like, we're gonna go somewhere."
Yeah.
So, he always made sure that he did what he wanted to make himself happy, and I would say maybe that's kind of like what I take in to my life because, like, I've already, like, moved and all that kind of stuff, and I
Yep.
don't even think my dad hated traveling, like, that wasn't really his like, trying to get this man to Hawaii was, like, a struggle.
Girl, that's
So,
far.
I mean, it is, but that wasn't really his thing was to really just kind of, like, enjoy every moment that you can and do what makes you happy,
Yeah.
and so that's I think that's a struggle for everybody, at least that's what I think,
Well,
trying
yeah.
to find that
So
thing.
society influences doesn't make it any easier to be able to really reach your level of happiness that you desire.
Right.
It really takes a strong mind.
It it sure does. So I think that's one of the things that, like, I kind of at least I try to consciously, like, instill that in my life because you don't wanna live your life miserable, and if you wanna go play that round of golf or, go bowl or whatever the case might be, like, do what's gonna make you happy. Yes,
Right.
still make time for the ones that you love and, like, this kind of stuff and whatever, but, like, at the end of the day, like, you still need to be happy. So,
Yeah,
you know
that's true. I
I
agree.
yeah, that's kinda like one of the things. Like, I remember, like, that was my dad's motivation. After his first surgery, he was out in the front yard, like, swinging golf balls, like, and I wouldn't even
Okay.
say, like, maybe a week or 2 after his surgery, probably not even that long, I don't even
Oh my
know.
gosh.
And he was just out there, like, 'cause we had a very, like, large front yard, so he can do that in our property. And he was like, "I'm gonna go hit my ball," and,
Bye, me time.
right.
These doctors had all my time up in the hospital. I need some me time. Thank you.
And that's all he wanted to do. He was so determined to just go out there and hit that ball, and it was like it was kind of amazing to watch, just because I just saw you, like, I don't wanna say on your deathbed, but, like, you just went
Mhm.
through, like, some traumatic surgery, and here you are, like, not that long after swinging fucking golf balls, and I'm like,
Oh my
"Who are
goodness.
you?"
Okay, Superman
Like so, like,
out
just kind of,
here.
like, that level of, like, motivation and stuff and, like, being that determined, I think is kind of, like, what drives me when I actually take the time to think about it.
Understood. Right, we only human. We have so much that's happening. It's
Yeah.
you can't really be it all. But I
No.
actually do want to share some feedback that I've received from some people in our communities
Exciting. Thank you,
that
guys.
motivate them. Um, I know we're speaking more so on just from losing someone, how we've been motivated, but
Mm,
I wanted to share some feedback on what motivates others just in general.
mhm.
So we have legacy,
Ooh.
knowledge of purity,
Mm.
my son,
Mhm.
to live the life I want, my family, and to become a better version of myself. I just want to share that last one was not me. When I seen that one, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I was say. I just want to share it literally was not me. And it wasn't
Someone's
Cassie
listening.
either. Right. I'm like, it wasn't Cassie either. So just so y'all know, that is
Some
not
of our
neither of
listeners.
us. Yes. But I feel all of that, you
Mhm.
know, legacy. That's
That's
pretty
huge.
much right. Like,
Huge.
I feel like that is what I'm trying to keep up with my mom's passing, like her legacy.
I try
It's
not to think about that. I just get so, like, defeated. I'm like, "I can't live up to that shit." Like,
I feel like I'm just trying to be like part two, you know?
that's a
Like,
better way to look at it.
yeah. Like, I'm not yeah, we not continuing part one, but we're gonna give you a part two,
Right,
part two, the
okay.
reboot, remake type of thing,
I like that.
part two, the remake, like a remake, that I think that would be better.
Agreed.
Um, Knowledge of purity, which is really weird that hearing these really make me think of things that like feel in alignment with my life too. But once again, this ain't me.
I
This ain't
swear.
me. I promise. And for people to say their son and their families, like I think that's a big common one for a lot of people, you
Definitely.
know, to just be able because, they have to be providers and, you know, be leaders of some sort, not necessarily just be a parent, but lead them just in general in life.
Mhm.
Have to lead by example. So I find that to be obviously super common. Most people I feel like have kids. So most
Yeah.
people have a family. Most people, have others that depend on them to be able to proceed forward in their lives as well.
Right.
So
Yeah.
um to live the life I want and become a better version of myself, um, I feel like I really like those two. Not that I don't like the other ones, but I just like those because I feel like that's important.
Definitely.
It's it's just as important as the other ones, but if you're living the life you want, you're reaching levels of happiness that you desire, and especially with today's world, more happiness is so necessary. So so necessary.
Yeah, and those ones are more for you, you know? You're
Exactly,
not doing it for others, you're doing what makes you happy and because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like, that's really like, yes, like, family and stuff is certainly gonna be motivation, but, like,
Mhm.
having your own, like, goals and, like, drive and just wanting to
Right.
be the best you out there possible, I think those are definitely huge motivators for sure.
Right. Yeah. So I just thought it was nice to share a little bit of something. And it's always nice to pick everyone's brains and know what everyone's thinking or know what some are thinking. Cause obviously I'm not getting everyone's answers, but um, it's just nice to see that once again, we all have so much in common.
Right.
We're all really a community that's really writing for the same things, maybe not the same exact things, but
Mm.
on majority basis, we're all here for the same thing.
Yeah, definitely, and not everyone's motivator has to be something as tragic as ours.
Absolutely not. We're just a little on the less fortunate side of things when it comes to that, but
Mhm.
you know, um less fortunate, not unfortunate, just saying, because there's always
Exactly.
room to grow and lessons to learn.
Of
You
course.
know.
Sometimes you have to turn that pain into, I would say pleasure, but, like,
Mm.
something that doesn't have to be so painful.
Girl, I really thought you were gonna say you have to turn that frown upside down. I'm like, no, she didn't.
Not
That's
that.
literally what I felt coming. Oh my gosh. But do you have anything else for our listeners and viewers on what motivates you and what's keeping you motivated or just motivation in general?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like an everyday struggle, I would say, because obviously there's gonna be days where you feel more motivated than others, and that, is definitely, normal.
For sure.
So, don't beat yourselves up just because you're not feeling motivated. Don't, be confused because you might not know where that motivation comes from, which
Yes.
sometimes it can help because then you can, like, remind yourself of that and, like, it'll just keep that motivation going. Um, ooh, there goes my voice again.
Oh
Um,
Lord, don't go check your thyroids now, girl.
shut up. But yeah, I mean, just keep on pushing and always try to remind yourself of that thing to keep you motivated and going. And I know Amanda had read some other people's comments about what keeps them motivated, but I am curious to hear other people too. So let us know what you guys think. What keeps you motivated or what did keep you motivated and maybe doesn't anymore. I think those are definitely important topics too. So write into us, let us know. We will obviously do another poll or something like that to hear your feedback. As always, we appreciate it. And that's all from me.
Yes, girl. Thank you. I like that. Very good last words to our listeners and viewers. You always have something strong to say. I
I,
appreciate you.
I try. I appreciate you too.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Mindset Talks podcast with your girls, Amanda.
And Cassie.
We hope you all enjoyed our episode today with us, got a couple laughs in, and we look forward to talking with you on the next episode.
Bye.